Do we?
Okay.
Hey, good evening, everybody. I'm Brother Washington Muhammad. He, him. I'm one of the co-founders, along with Mike Leonardi and Jabril Bey, of the Community Solidarity Response Network. If you're on Facebook, look up Mike Leonardi. He lives in Italy now, so he got away for real, for real. And if you look up Jabril Bey, I should warn you, if you look up Jabril Bey, you get what you deserve. But he was one of the co-founders of CSRN, and I had no idea meeting with those two brothers 6 years ago in a marijuana filled house. All right, that we would come up Ruth. They came up with this idea that you can actually organize and be productive outside of religion in politics. And maybe one day I'll just sit and talk about some of the things that went on with CSRN weeks before it became CSRN. And there's a few people in Toledo that I want to locate that joined in this conversation of adding Kwanzaa, adding Black liberation theory, adding the Black nationalist agenda, along with some political savvy to come up with what we do to now. So we stand on the shoulders of some local giants that are still here, and hopefully soon I want to lift up some of those brothers and sisters who made this happen, that we could just be here today. Today I have on a gray hat. I got a haircut. All right. I've got on brown glasses with brown rim glasses. I got on my scarf and a Ralph Lauren, because this is what I found at the Goodwill store. So it's like that. You can find some good stuff there. You don't have to pay full price.
I'm a huge fan of thrifting, so yes.
Right. I sound like one of those commercials, but we're here, and it's awesome to come to you every week and talk about some of the issues that have transpired over the last week or a couple of weeks, to talk to you about some of the things that we're doing right now, or we're organizing to do right now, and then talk about some of the things that we've got coming up in the very near future. I'm not going to talk about that because I want to send it right now to Jody. If you can introduce yourself, and then if you could bring us in with the mission statement. And did we do the elder thing?
Brother Washington, since you're the oldest man I know, do we have permission to start?
Oh man, that's high praise. The oldest. Okay, all right. Yes, we have permission to begin.
All right.
All righty, everybody. My name is Jody J. Summers, child of the system, better known as Spoken Truth. I am a cinnamon toned, brown skinned bear of a man that is covered in tattoos and crystals and piercings and bones and some other stuff like that. The clothing that I'm wearing is representative of my city, local entrepreneurship. Today's shirt is the Flock, which is Farm Laborers Organization. Hat, of course, Filthy Feathers, and all the other stuff that comes with knowing me. Where Sans came today, it's off getting itself spiritually cleansed and all that stuff. So, yeah, my pronouns would be him, he, or we. If you know a little bit about me, you know why that we is very prominent. And this is our mission statement. Also, thank you for everybody watching, listening, resharing, all of that stuff. This is going into year 7. You can start out an organization with one person or 1,000 people, but after 7 years and grants run out, you never know what could happen. So I'm very happy to be a part of a unpaid initiative that just keeps going. This is one of the reasons why we keep going. Here is our mission statement. We are the Community Solidarity Response Network of Toledo, formed on November 25th, 2014, the day after that was announced that the killer, a Ferguson, Missouri police officer of Michael Brown, an unarmed teenager, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to the fact that that injustice is experienced by Black women, men, and children who are disproportionately murdered, attacked, provoked, and harassed by law enforcement. Police brutality has to end. We bring awareness to the fact that most often police brutality goes without consequence or accountability. Police impunity has to end. We utilize the tactics of protest, civil disobedience, event disruption, and citizen advocacy to give voice to those who are otherwise voiceless. We facilitate progressive, community-based events to help foster self-development, and we discuss measures to hold local leadership accountable to their sworn duties, be they politician, clergy, law enforcement, educators, etc., etc. We want justice, equal justice under the law. We want justice applied equally, regardless of class, creed, or color. For all lives to matter, Black lives must matter. And injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Also sans Martin Luther King Day, which was yesterday.
Right. And before we get into our guiding principles, I don't know if we've been involved with some Martin Luther King events in the city, and I don't know if Ruth wants to talk about this because she didn't tell us that we could talk about it, but we can do whatever we want until she said we can't.
I'll allow it.
Okay.
I guess we'll go into your stuff first because that leads precedent to kind of help people heal and grow and stuff like that, since you're our brother and can speak on stuff like that. And then maybe after the commercial break, because there's still a lot of people that I got to thank, so I got to pull up the phone while I'm sharing. So we'll do that after the
All right, thanks. All right. So I want to lead in right now with our guiding principles. Why has CSRN been able to be here for 6 years? Because there's some principles that guide us, whether we like it or not, whether we think it's the way to go or not. But there has to be a game plan. There has to be some type of binding principles that allow us to move forward without imploding. And these are our guiding principles. And after each principle, I'll say ashe. And that means one who changes a thing or one who makes a thing happen. Ashe?
Ashe.
Thriving instead of surviving. Our vision is based on the world we want, not the one we're currently in. We seek to transform, not simply react. We want our people to thrive, not just exist. Think beyond the possible. Ashe?
Ashe.
Experimentation and innovation must be built into our work. Embrace the best tools, practices, and tactics, and leave those behind that no longer serve us. Ashe?
Ashe.
Evaluation and assessment must be built into our culture. Critical reflection must be a part of all of our work. We learn from our mistakes and our victories. Ashe?
Ashe.
Principled struggle can exist in a positive environment. We must be honest with one another by embracing direct, loving communication. Ashe?
Ashe.
Love, self-love, is practiced in every element of all we do. Love and self-love must be a driver of our work and an indicator of our success. Without this principle and without healing, we'll harm each other and undermine our movement. Ashe?
Ashe.
360-degree vision. We honor past struggles and wisdom from elders. The work we do today builds the foundations of movements of tomorrow. we consider our mark on future generations. Ashe?
Ashe.
Self-care. Self-care means we build resilient spaces by budgeting time, energy, and resources for healing. Self-care is a regular, consistent, intentional, and essential practice. Ashe?
Ashe.
The most directly affected people are experts at their own lives and should be in leadership at the center of our movement and telling their stories directly. Ashe?
Ashe.
Training and leadership development should be fundamental. Our movement must constantly grow and leadership must constantly multiply. Ashe?
Ashe.
All Black lives matter. Queer Black lives, trans Black lives, formerly and presently incarcerated Black lives, poor working class Black lives, differently abled Black lives, Black men and women's lives, immigrant Black lives, Black elderly and children lives. All Black lives matter, and our creators of this space, we throw no one under the bus, we rise together. Ashe?
Ashe.
I also wanted to do a couple of, Jody, did you know, and you may not know this, but CSRN's first meeting before we came Community Solidarity Response Network, we were once called, believe it or not, Community Solidarity Ferguson Response Network of Toledo. Now, that's a long name, so I want to thank a sister named Cherry Forward that at one time did what you see Ruth is doing and what so many was doing was helping to guide us through the beginning of CSRN. And out of the blue, she said, hey, look, this name is too long. We're not even in Ferguson, but we were formed right in the beginning, in the middle of the Mike Brown, situation. That's even in our mission statement.
Yeah.
And she advocated for changing the name from CSFRN, all right, to CSRN. And I think we were at I think I may have been on the phone at my home, and I'm like, yeah, why not? Let's go. And from that point, we were called Community Solidarity Response Network. So it was Cherry Forward that came up with the idea that we had too many letters, all right, and needed to get rid of a couple of them. So that's why we're called CSRN, not because of Brother Washington, not because of Mike Leonardi or Jabril Bey. That was on Cherry Forward. And I wanted to thank, I don't know if I'm not looking at the chat, but shout out to Sabrina Jameson and Dr. Gwen Wilson. I spoke to Dr. Gwen today, or Sister Gwen. She likes to be called Sister Gwen, but I like to call her Dr. Gwen, so it makes people think I know people important. All right. So if she's able to turn on her computer, she can actually see us here. So don't tell Sister Gwen I said that.
I just got that chair.
Right. So, Ruth, before you take us to commercial, I wanted to talk about the art of the protest, and we've been involved in protest culture, activist movement culture, as a group for quite some time. And there's some things that you might have seen us do that might raise an eyebrow or two. We may have blocked traffic as we have. We might have interrupted official government stuff that's going on like we did with the MLK. We might stage a protest either downtown or Monroe, Detroit, or wherever. However, there's some things that are off limits, and if you don't know, then we're letting you know right now that there's some things that are off limits. The harm of women and children, all right, that's off limits. That's not a part of activism. If you think harming women and children is going to get your point across, or harming the weak, or those who are less in number, or those who you think have less power. That's not activism signaling out the weakest link or the low hanging fruit. We're advocating the revolution of not only the prison and industrial complex, but police culture and the institution of white supremacy. All right, that's where we're at. What's off limits is thinking that you can attack those who can't adequately defend themselves. That's off limits. We can defend ourselves intellectually, politically, if need be, Jody, physically. All right. So we could do that. I'm not saying that we want all the smoke, but at least most of it. All right. And we can take
Just
that.
a couple puffs.
Right. Just as he said, just a couple puffs. We can take that. We've got Ruth behind us. We've got Sabrina. We've got so many of our comrades in Toledo that have seen our work, and also the desecration of any religious structure, be it a church, synagogue, mosque, temple. It doesn't matter. That's off limits. That's not where you send your message. That's not where you place your message, no matter who you are. Those are some of the things that's off limits. So for those of us that are a part of activist culture and movement work, take it from us, the Black people that do this, because this is about Black people and how we move, how we believe Black lives should be defended at all times, no matter the cost, no matter the gains or loss. So those are just some tips from CSRN to who's ever watching. If you want to know how to do activist work, I believe that we have enough in our catalog that we can humbly put on a clinic for anyone that wants to do this work. We're not the only ones that do it.
Point you in the right direction.
Right, but you can take some serious cues from the things that we've done. And hey, Ruth, so I just wanted to put that out there. So Ruth, if you're listening, and I know you are, if you could take us to commercial, CSRN, video minutes, come right back.
Hey, I'm Dr. P. Not only am I a leadership coach, I'm a change agent and I'm a race scholar. I've used my study of race to dismantle systems and organizations, but I also use that to help you as the individual become a better leader for your families and for your community.
Anyway.
Now you can get the same uncompromising truth you've come to expect from the Final Call newspaper on all your connected devices. Subscribe to the Final Call Digital Edition today. Go to subscribe.finalcalldigital.com.
All right, we are back.
Yes.
This is CSRN Video Minutes. I'm Brother Washington. As you know, he, him, dedicated and committed to defending all Black bodies, no matter the cost, no matter the gains and loss. Hey, look, we've got the lead administrative corps with us today. Our sister, we call her Activist Bae. You better call her Queen, all right? Ruth, all right, Ruth, we want to talk about what's going on nationally. What are some of the things that are going on locally that we need to know? And if we need to get people activated to move on something, to make some phone calls, what do you got for us to do?
All righty. So, thank you everyone who is still watching with us. My name is Ruth Leonard. I am the administrative lead for the Community Solidarity Response Network. I am a medium brown skin complected woman. I'm wearing circular tortoiseshell glasses. My hair is in a ponytail, and I'm wearing a black and white polka dot shirt with 2 necklaces, leopard print earrings, and a black cardigan. So we have lots to discuss in regards to basically what is happening locally as well as nationally. The first thing that I would like to talk about is the fact that Trump is finally on his last day as the leader of the free world. I do not know how we made it because Trump is a disgrace to humanity. I said it. I don't apologize for it. However, we do know that with Trump leaving, there is a new administration coming in, and that's where we have Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, who are coming in as our president and vice president. Now, what I do not want to happen and what I do not expect to happen is that everyone say, all right, we got Trump out of office, we are done with the work. Absolutely not. The work is still going on. Just because we have a new leader does not mean that we take our foot off of the gas at all. So that means, number one, I need everyone to recognize that all politics is local. Okay, so even though we do have a new commander in chief, we still need to pay attention to what is happening on our own streets and our own city blocks. For example, with 2 days left in his presidency, Donald Trump, his administration released the 1776 project findings, which went on to say that slavery was justified, as was the 3/5 compromise. Now, this is in response to, Nicole Hannah Jones's 1619 project, which talked about the importance of acknowledging that slavery is a part of American history, and therefore it needs to be taught as such. So we're dealing with a very knee-jerk reaction with the Trump administration in response to the 1619 project. But shout out to Nicole Hannah Jones. If you have not read up on her or listened to her blog, simply search her. It's NIKKOLEHANNAH-Jones. We also need to pay attention to any sort of civil legislation or city legislation that's taking place. Looking at Lucas County, looking at the looking at city council, looking at our county commissioners. Now, what I told you all last week was that there were quite a few meetings that were taking place. So I know that the mayor's commission was able to have all of the subcommittee members come together. There, I believe, is a meeting that's scheduled out in the next few weeks with everyone who was a part of the mayor's committee on police and civilian justice. We have been talking about when that next meeting is. So as soon as we get those dates, then I will be able to attend that meeting and then let you all know what, if anything, has come out of that. Another interesting meeting, though, that I was able to be a part of was with the city commissioners. So City Commissioner Pete Gherkin and I believe Gary Byers, they were instrumental in bringing together a group of people who basically want to know, how do we move forward? How do we have any sort of progress when it comes to police and civilian relationships? The first meeting went pretty well. It was very polite. Although we did get some hard questions out there. We talked about training for police officers. We talked about basically what police need to do in order for us as a nation, as a community, as a county to move forward. But once again, these were all just ideas that were tossed out. We weren't able to have any forward-moving conversation because this was, once again, our first meeting. So as soon as we have another meeting, I will be able to keep you all abreast of what, if any, progress is taking place. So we went from national news. Now we're going to trickle into local news, which was with the county commissioner and the mayor, and keeping it even more local. Susan Block, I'm still at your neck. Okay? No questions asked. What is happening right now is we are in the planning stages of how to have accountability from Susan Block, because for far too long, it has been some sort of disrespect to Black and brown communities. No apology from those that offer this disrespect, and then we just move on. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of getting half-hearted apologies. and expecting to be okay with that. Like, I wouldn't expect that from a friend. I wouldn't accept just a complete lack of respect from anyone else. So I don't, like, Susan Block is no different. So if you are interested in helping us take her down and holding her accountable, then please continue to email CSRN. I have a lot of people who have expressed interest in helping us out. So look for emails from CSRN in regards to that. The final thing is for local news, CSRN is in the process of still collecting names and nominations for the Black Lives Matter Awards. If you know anyone who should be nominated for a Black Lives Matter Award, please visit our website, csrntoledo.com. There's a link, if you click on the flyer, that you can nominate someone, as well as if you are interested in sponsoring the event, you can receive information about that as well. CSRN has a lot of things coming up for this year. This is just our first annual kickoff for the year. As we all know, and if we don't, I will let you know, Martin Luther King Jr. Day is my official kickoff to Black History Month. So expect bigger and blacker. Shout out to Chris Rock. I think that's all that I have, Brother Washington. If you have anything else to add, let me know.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about the Black Lives Matter Awards, and hey, we just lost some lighting not too long ago, so shout out to Jody for that. But just to let you know, we blame everything on Jody because he could take it. But
We gain staff.
yeah, absolutely. I wanted to ask, our first Black Lives Matter Awards, if I'm not mistaken, was 2016.
Mhm.
And we had Lonnie Hamilton.
Yep.
And Rosalind was our co-host. And why do you think it's important? Just so that the people that are viewing can hear your rationalization for organizing our own lifting up and giving our people their flowers while they're still here. Why do you think it's important for us as CSRN to have the Black Lives Matter Awards?
Okay, so first things first, apologies for moving in the middle of your question. I wanted to make sure I did not lose any power on my laptop because I would not be able to blame that on Jody.
All right.
So it is incredibly important for the CSRN Black Lives Matter Awards to take place, just like we have the NAACP Awards, just like we have the BET Awards. For far too many individuals who do work, who are active in their communities, it gets overlooked. And it's often because of, I don't know, maybe there's a blind expectation that Black folks can just take more and they don't have to be celebrated in any way. But we want to make sure that Black and brown people who are in our communities, who are doing the work, who are not looking for recognition, but are still doing it just for the love and the passion of the community, we want to make sure that they are celebrated. Far too often, we don't give flowers to our heroes while they're here. And we, as the Community Solidarity Response Network, we want to make sure that we know that people are doing the work. We know that people are working in the best interest of their communities. We know that people are sacrificing their time and their resources to make sure that somebody else has it a little better. And so that's what the entirety of the Black Lives Matter Awards was about the first time, the second time, the third time. We do different iterations of it depending on the year. So one year we did the scholarships where we wanted to focus on students. But at the end of the day, it's all about recognition. Few and far between are individuals who get celebrated, who just have a chance to take a day off and look back on the work that they've done and know that someone saw it, right? And know that someone appreciated it. As an educator, I often have to wait years and years from the seeds that I plant in my students to see it grow. And the Black Lives Matter Awards is simply a moment to say, we see what you planted, we see what you've given, we see what you sacrificed, and we want to say thank you. It is a huge thank you from the members of CSRN to the members of the community who are doing the work.
Right. And I wanted to add on that even though we're doing it virtually, in the past we would rent out the Doug and we demand them to charge us full price.
Yes.
All right. So we can recycle our dollars. So
yes.
Shout out to our brother Reggie Williams, who consistently asks us to volunteer the space, but we're not having that. The Doug's not going to stay there if we don't support it. And even though we're having it virtual, there's still a cost to making sure that we have the right technical expertise to stream it. So we are going to be knocking on a few doors for some donations. If we've asked you for a donation in the past, it's a great chance that, hey, you might see it. You might see us again. You might want to look outside your window right now.
All right. See the staff. Right. Black people.
Right. If you see Jody and his staff, you already know what's up. Just take out the checkbook, toss out the debit card, write the PIN code on the back. But it's really important that we finance and we fund our own endeavors. That way we can lift up whomever we want. We can lift up Montrese Casey. We can lift up Chris McBrayer, Gutter Dave, Dr. P, the other Dr. P. There's two of them, all right? Hey, and I know both of them. We can lift up right. We can lift up whoever we want, and nobody can say nothing because we paid for it, and we couldn't do it without the people that believe in it. So it's not us that are putting our hands. Right. It's not us putting our hands in our pocket. All right. It's others that are supporting us. All right. Hey, look, I think that
got a commercial break coming up.
Yeah, I think I got everything that I needed to get out. If we could take a quick commercial break, come back, and I think we're either going to come back with Jody or maybe a little bit from you before we go to Jody and community shout outs and solutions.
All righty.
All right, we're back. CSRN Video Minutes. Hey, Ruth, I want to thank you for when we come back. I jump right in with CSRN Video Minutes. That way you don't have to wonder, is this fool going to say anything or is he going to be quiet? So that's one of the things that I do. Thanks for bringing us back. Thanks for everybody that's in the chat. And if you're in the chat, say what's up to us. I'm not able to talk and look at my phone at the same time. I know that Jody can, but thanks for having us back. We were just talking about the Black Lives Matter Awards, why it's important to lift up our own. We also have coming up, if it be the will of the universe, that on February 1st, we are going to raise up the red, black, and green flag at One Government Center. With, yeah, again. All right, and that's with the help of the Office of Commissioners, of course, the Port Authority, the Office of the Mayor, everybody that either is going to help us or stay out the way. Either way, you're helping us get it done. Either way, you're helping us make this happen. So before we bring up Jody and talking about community shout outs and solutions, was there anything that you missed that you wanted to bring in to this podcast before we send it to Jody?
There's nothing off the top of my head, but if I did include a link to the 1619 project from Nicole Hannah-Jones in our comments. So if anyone is interested in learning more about the 1619 project, which is the year that the first slaves or the first Africans were brought to North America or to the Americas, feel free to click on that link. And with that, I will leave it up to you.
All right, let me pass it over to Jody J. Summers, child of the system, tears of the wounded. Is it That's a Meal?
Yeah, I've done that.
Okay, all right. Hey, Jody.
Always in the back pocket.
Right, we're talking about community shout outs and solutions because there's a lot of people that's already doing the work. So there's some things that I don't need to duplicate if we got a Chris McBrayer. There's some things I don't need to duplicate. There's a brother that actually teaches sign language and chess.
Yep.
All right. So shout out. He
does like things down there by the park.
Right. And also he has some space at St. Martin de Porres. I met him and one of the young brothers that pushed him to do this work. So there's a lot of people in our community that's actually doing it. We want to shout them out. So let me pass it to Jody. Jody, regarding community shout outs, solutions, and anything else that's on your mind.
And for everybody that's watching out there and stuff that may not be hearing, if you do see me, I'm always on this. That's kind of part of my life, and another thing that comes from the we. But again, we are a non-funded grassroots organization. So while I'm doing all of the treasury stuff, I'm also doing all the promoting stuff. So if you see me or see us in a group or on a page or on a link or something, that's why I'm multitasking. I'm not paying attention. I'm also commenting or liking or sending little care hug symbols out to people that get in our chat. But as everybody else, or as most people know, yesterday was MLK Day, the celebration, not his birthday. It's a very big difference between the two. Most people, again, just like giving flowers where people are alive, most of the people that have their days are not actually on their birthdays. I think a couple presidents actually celebrate both their days on different days. So, but yesterday was awesome. I know this year has changed quite a bit for everything. As we, even in our mission statement, one of the things that we did as that kind of solidified us, we went up to a MLK organized or demonstration or event that was held here and disrupted it with actual people who are activists versus people who are actors on screen for degrees. I'm gonna stop. But so that's something we've always kept in tradition, like with Kwanzaa itself, is keeping not just the national holidays or the expected holidays alive, but those that you don't even know about. Side note on that, I believe because of last year, Juneteenth has actually got a lot of its recognition in a few places that have become a paid and national holiday. But since a lot of the things were virtual, I think we had something virtual for UT or something like that. But me, myself, I like going to places as long as, social distancing. You can check out mask and all that stuff. So I went somewhere up to an art gallery I've been before because, as most people know me here, I'm the artist, author, illustrator, filmmaker, chef, cook. Just give me a saw and I'll put something together like MacGyver. Saw and a rubber band. I need that rubber band. But I want to give a shout out to a lot of the people that showed up to the Colors Art Gallery, which is actually right across the street from one of our secret locations that we be at. But it's a beautiful art gallery, another Black-owned art gallery in the city, and they had a MLK Day celebration. I wound up showing up because I show up to a lot of stuff that I can, me and the staff, and change and all that stuff. And they were doing a teach-in to kids. Now, for me, again, when I show up to places, I don't expect kids to be there or adults to be there. I show up and give whatever knowledge or experience I can. Um, so real quick, shout out to City Park League, Mark Treese. He was there with Big Lou, DJ Lou the mayor. If you're from here, Nicola, she's the curator, the artist. If you see her wall, last time I was there, she had let me know during pandemic she had made like 250 paintings. And I just feel bad as an artist, like, what have I been doing with my life? But yeah, her art gallery is filled up with that stuff. So check her out. Sharon Jackson, if you look on my album, and I shared it to CSRN, you'll see some of the vendors, because when I go to a place, I'm not just shopping for me, I'm shopping for our community. So if you got a vendor table, I'm taking a picture of you. I'm taking a picture of your card. I'm sharing it to everybody I can, because that's how we keep dollars in our community. Shout out to Alfia, who does custom treats. I may be saying your names wrong, but I'm trying to say them. Shonda Lindsay, of course, Montrese Casey, Audrey, which we'll get on in a second, Christy, Patterson, Knighton, Darius Simpson. Again, shout out for the ride afterwards. Give me the location, because power of this thumb is I don't even know. But of course, Lewis, DJ, and Optio, who Brother Washington was in one of their, what do they call them now? The market ambassadors, sell them, people that wear your stuff and appreciate it by telling other people. It's got a fancy name now, but Optio Go, who is a licensed mobile on-the-go optician and stuff like that. So shout out to everybody there, but also really shout out to the kids. And I got there. I didn't expect kids, because most of these things are the older people that want to see it. But there was about 10 to 15 kids in there. And everybody got posters from the library. Everybody got stickers from my brand. We talked at least to that age group, because I want to say they were maybe between 10 and under, maybe 12, some teenagers, but no more than maybe 13. But saw the history of him, did some activities to find out how much they knew about him, some community building stuff. You'll see the little circle and everything where everybody was dancing and talking and everything like that. And unofficially, I got to perform for the first time this year, which for me as a poet, all them other titles, I never go somewhere expecting to perform or expecting to win some competition. But during intermission, Audrey, she had yelled out, "Hey, you do stuff," where I was signing some books and artwork and stuff. So I gave a performance on and kind of let them see what the I Have a Dream speech is. That to be that person that can go beyond barriers and different genres and stuff like that, but still keep his activism bond strong and not willing to bend or break because of fame, clout, glory, anything like that. And it was nice to hear the responses from the kids. They asked me, where have I traveled? What have I done? And stuff like that. And yeah, it's a really beautiful thing. I'm going to try and check out some of the virtual stuff, but I still appreciate being there and learning from people and being engaged. We all created like a mural painting that she's going to put up. So everybody that was in the spot got to paint something on a single mural, kind of what we did with the parks and to stop the violence, where everybody in the community could come up and leave a piece of themselves. I'm very big on that in the art world. So, yeah, I think that's about it for yesterday.
All right. Before we go to a short break, then we're going to come back and have Ruth wrap things up, and then we're going to toss it to Jody for 5 minutes of heat. That's how we close out our meetings. We don't have a gavel or any type of Robert's rules. This is the way we do it. And I wanted to add this about reclaiming Dr. King. In 2016, we wanted to present at the MLK celebration at Savage Hall. It's heavy on City of Toledo. It's heavy on UT. It's heavy on ProMedica. So I guess I'm not going to get a donation from either of those. But what happens? Dr. King, with that type of guidance, begins to get homogenized. And there's a beautiful lady that was head of the Board of Community Relations, and she really wanted to assist us, but it didn't happen. So we decided, myself, Jody, and a few others, right in the middle of the celebration, we wanted to walk on the stage with maybe 30 or 40 protesters and shut it down. You just can't claim Dr. King and not lift up anything beyond 1964. That's like only capsulizing my life from the 7th grade and saying that's it before I became Brother Washington, whatever that is. But I just want people to know that Dr. King was a revolutionary. He was blacker than whoever you think is black, whoever you think is, black power. He was it. That's why he was assassinated. He didn't die for what he believed. He was murdered because he was waking people up. He was waking people up to economic justice. He coined the term redistributing the pain. Why should we spend our money with those who wouldn't spend a dime with us? Why would we participate in wars that kill the innocent and suck the lifeblood out of the country? So Dr. King was about that, and he even talked about the idea of integration, which was crafted by what we call the white liberal non-economic agenda, which says that it's okay for you to protest, it's okay for you to have a sign and say, I am a man. But if you start talking about business, if you start talking about international trade and doing something for yourself, then you're persona non grata. Then you get treated like Denmark Vesey. Then you get treated like Gabriel Prosser. Then you get treated like Mark Clark. Then you get treated like Marcus Garvey. Now you get to be the public enemy number one. That's what Dr. King was when he was murdered. He was public enemy number one of the United States government. And in 1994, the United States government was found to be complicit in his assassination. So while we're celebrating with a day of service, we might be thinking about celebrating by waking the heck up. All right. I said heck. All right. I did good this time. All right. By waking up. Study Dr. King close to his assassination. Study how he grew beyond his handlers. This was a genius, graduating from college not even 20 years old. I mean, he did more as a teenager than I've done my whole life, and I'm almost 30. Okay, all right, give or take 20 years. But family, that's what Dr. King means to me. And in 2015, the Nation of Islam, under the guidance of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, we had the 25th anniversary of the Million Man March. It was called Justice or Else, and it was highlighting Dr. King, lifting him up when everybody else wanted to water him down and homogenize him. That's not the King that we know. Hallmark's version of Dr. King, that's not the Dr. King that we know. It's not. We reject that in its fullness. So just wanted to put that out there for everybody. So Ruth, hey, listen, we're going to take a short break, come back, wrap it up with administrative lead, administrative core, Ruth Leonard. Shut it down with 5 minutes of heat with Jody. Stay tuned. CSRN Video Minutes. Come right back. All right. I think I got all that out. I think I could go home. I think I
Okay,
could go
so
home now.
I do have one more thing to add before we get to Jody's 5 minutes of heat. So CSRN, my personal love for CSRN is the ability to educate and to reach out to the community and just give them whatever resources that they need. So I just want to take this as an opportunity to shout out Brianna Camden. She will be interning with CSRN through the University of Toledo. She's going to be helping us with our police abolition work, legislation, basically anything dealing with that she will be helping us out with. And we actually have a few events that we are looking at planning after we have the Black Lives Matter Awards, because we want to give her an opportunity to basically use her voice and uplift her voice. And I had a half-hour conversation with her, and it let me know that the kids are all right. Like, this next generation coming up knows what to do. They know how to reach out. They know how to make connections. They know basically how to change the world for the better. So I just want to give a huge shout out to Brianna Camden, excuse me, for taking the initiative to reach out to CSRN, to say that she wants to be involved and she wants to work with us in order to accomplish our dreams and our goals. And then the second thing that I want to say is a huge shout out to the Human Relations Coalition for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm blanking on her name. They brought, oh my gosh, please, Brother Washington or Jody, help me. What is her name that they brought to? Oh my gosh.
I ain't watched TV in 20 years. So I don't know.
I can't think of her name. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I'm playing this game.
Okay, it's okay. It's okay.
So they brought a phenomenal woman to Toledo. And oh, please have the comment. Yes, Austin Channing Brown. They brought her to Toledo.
Austin Channing Brown.
Yes, to basically speak on the importance of having the necessary conversations, to have real movement work, to have real changes in society, to have accountability from white supremacists for the actions that they take. But there is also another conversation with her that will be taking place with the women of Toledo on tomorrow. So if you are interested in being a part of another discussion, I believe it's a book discussion of Austin Channing Brown, that we can continue to have, you know, these organic conversations that talk about real growth and real movement when it comes to accountability. Women of Toledo, I will put a link to the registration for it, and that's tomorrow at 7 p.m. And with that, Joe.
All right. Hey, listen, if anybody wants to support us, you can support our efforts through our Cash App. That's CSRN 419. We're on that's a Cash App, you know, the cash tag. If you want to support us via PayPal, it's PayPal me. I think that's /CSRN 419. And listen, we appreciate the people of Toledo that have supported us, that have supported our initiatives. We thank the people of Toledo that have helped guide us, Jody, over the years through some rough patches, and with Ruth and Brianna. Hey, as Dr. Dre said, the saga continues. All right. So hey, look, let me go ahead and toss it to Jody. 5 minutes of heat, CSRN.
All right, everybody. And I'm happy to say that after tomorrow, pieces and poems and sonnets and books and stuff that I've written and published will be outdated. Because a lot of that over the past few years has been related to the tyrant in office. And thankfully, I can get on to writing some other stuff about maybe the new tyrant in office. I don't know. Uh, Again, as we said at the top of the program, because this is kind of like our weekly podcast now. I mean, I think we got something going here, but don't be swayed or just stop and put down your signs or and your pens and all that because you got Kamala and Biden in office. Don't believe that just like everybody else who have been in politics for 30, 40 years, that all of a sudden they said, hey, I'm just here to help somebody. After that amount of time, there are secrets and skeletons no matter where you go. So be happy that you did get the results of at least half of the country. It's a working effort. It's probably better than it was in the 60s. It's definitely better than it was in the 60s, although we had a revisiting of that this summer all across the world. It wasn't just we were watching China and people getting beat and stuff. Now we're watching Americans. But again, tomorrow, hopefully smoothly, hopefully we don't stop the world and everybody starts staring at their phone, which I have high doubtability maybe down the line because it wouldn't just make sense. But after tomorrow, these would be dated. So this is a piece kind of on reflection. The date is important. March 8th, 2018, when this was published. It is called A Conversation with Myself. So let's begin. Peace. Have you looked around lately? I mean, really looked around. Tell me we're not living in a bad 80s movie with better graphics. We're watched 24/7, and I don't care what you think is secure or what settings you think you turned off. A 12-year-old could hack our governments if they wanted to without missing a day of school. Our leaders make up laws to create enough fear so the people will fight over any distraction you give them as they create nonprofit slush funds, curing you, yes, curing you of all your bullying, addiction, war torn, unhealthy lifestyles. Our food is not real. Our food, which gives us life, has so little nutritional value, we have to add genetic value to make it worth eating. And I don't care what plant based lifestyle you follow. A clone of a clone of a clone of a clone never had life to begin with. What generation did your seeds come from? And unless you're walking around with magical fairy unicorn nymph on heirloom seeds before the era of mass genetic testing with no pure chemical enhanced soil, shut up. Bet you can't say which cancer, what, bet you can't say what cancer are you having without what growth are you eating? Oh, and if you still don't believe me about the 80s movie, what are you looking at this from? Yes, far more streamlined and convenient than the Star Trek era or holographic films, but try and take these little bits of man made materials away from someone that connect us to the people we find magically important together. But, because saying Wi-Fi gives them an excuse to burn a forest and put up a tower. And you will have an army of undead, half-fed, emotionally driven beasts that will fight you to the bitter end. Much love. Good night. Oh, and wait. Did I mention money? Yeah, money bad. Don't trust it in any form if it's something that controls your life or decides where you can and can't go. Yeah, and peace.
And thank you, Jody. And with that, Ruth, did you want to close out with the pledge?
Yes.
If so, go right ahead.
Alrighty, we end all of our meetings with our solidarity pledge. That is simply our promise to ourselves and to each other to continue the movement work until we meet again. So please repeat after me. Everyone say I.
I.
Your name.
Brother Washington.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To love my brothers and my sisters.
To love my brothers
To
and
love my
sisters
brothers and my sisters.
As I love myself.
As I love myself.
I. Say your name.
Brother Washington.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To study to improve myself.
To study to improve myself.
Spiritually.
Spiritually.
Mentally.
Mentally.
Morally. And physically.
And physically.
For the benefit of myself.
For the benefit of myself.
My family.
My family.
And my people.
And my people.
I. Say your name.
Brother Washington.
Child of the system.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To be a part of the solution.
To be a part of the solution.
The process.
The process.
And not the problem.
And not the problem.
I. Say your name.
Brother Washington.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To give all that I can spare.
To give all that I can spare.
Of my time.
Of my time.
My strength.
My strength.
And energy.
And energy.
To achieve.
The
above said.
The above said.
Give yourself a round of applause.
Great job, Brooke. Great job, Ruth. Great job, CSRN.
Yes.
And remember, all lives can't matter unless Black lives matter. And Black lives can't matter unless all Black lives matter. Justice or else, and what?
Peace.
Yay.